Good morning. I'm going to make some deer steaks today, and I wanted you to see how I made them. Deer season just got over with in Illinois, and Eric got some deer and brought home, and he's wanted me to cook up some of these little steaks, and I wanted to show you how I cooked them. And it does, I know a lot of people don't like venison, and a lot of people haven't ever tried it, but one thing that you have to do is when you kill the deer, the hunters need to field dress them, and that is where they drain the blood and they take out that stink thing in there. And I don't know really what that is, but I know that you have to take care of that, or your deer will be, the meat will taste gamey and strong. Okay, so I'm going to show you what these look like. I have rinsed them off. And they've been cubed. And they're nice little, wonderful little steaks. And the first thing I'm going to do is flour them. And I'll get me a measuring cup. And I'll be using my little trusty tried and true Frisbee. And I put the flour in here. And this is the seasonings that I'm going to use. This is Nature's Own. I like it real well. It's a seasoning blend. And I just sprinkle on some salt and some pepper. And then I'm going to dip this in the oil, or the flour. Now I've got about 12 little steaks, and I'm going to put you on pause, finish putting the flour on them, and then I'll come right back and show you what I'm going to do next. Okay, I'm back, and I've got these steaks all floured and ready to go in the frying pan. And I'm going to clean up this counter, and I wanted to tell you to be sure and use a wet, cold rag to clean up this flour, and it comes right up. If you use hot, it sticks and it gets gummy. So always use a cold water on your rag, and it'll come right up. I think I've told you this before, but sometimes if we don't do it often, we forget. Okay, I'll clean up my little shakers and my seasoning. Okay. I'm going to leave the flour there because we're going to have flour for the gravy. Now I've got my skillet on, and got the Crisco in there getting hot. And when it gets good and hot, I'm going to brown these steaks. When I get them browned, I'm going to put them in this little granite Dutch oven. And I've already sprayed it with Pam. And I'll put it in there. I've got the oven on 350. And I will put that in the oven to bake. But after I get all these little pieces of steak cooked, I will make a gravy out of the drippings from the steaks. And then I will pour it over the steaks in the pan. So I'm going to do this in, I'll show you how I fry up the steaks first so you can see. And then I'll do all of them, get them in the pan, and then I'll come back on and show you how I make the gravy. And then I bake them. I bake them for an hour. And then I turn the heat down to 275 and bake them till they're tender. And these are really small, so they may not take as long. But when you cook them slow, that makes them very, very tender. And they have been run through the tenderizer. But this also helps to get the flavor into the meat. with the gravy and everything. Slow cooks it, get your seasonings in it. Excuse me. And if I don't have enough grease, sometimes I don't because it cooks it out, I will add some bacon grease, and that also makes it taste very good too. So, what I'm going to do, I think it's, not sure if it's hot enough or not. Not quite. You don't want to put your meat in the grease unless it's really, really hot because it soaks up the grease too much. And if it's really, really hot, it browns it quicker and it doesn't soak up the grease as bad. Well, I think I'll move this over here. Let's see if I'm still having trouble with my legs staying down on my stand. There. I think that's better. The grease is still not quite hot enough. I'm just going to do this one for right now. Anyway, I haven't had deer for a while. And my husband used to always go deer hunting every year. And Eric and Michael and Eddie would go too. And now Noah's he's gonna start hunting and learn how to hunt. But they did get some deer this time, which was good, because I've been missing it, and I really like deer. And I like deer roast, and I like to cook them in the oven real slow and put lots of seasoning on them and onions, and they're really good too. You just, like I said, the deers have to be taken care of as soon as they're shot in the field. And that's what keeps them from having that gamey taste, and you've got to do all that out there while you're with the deer as soon as you get it, before you can out there, before you even take it home or whatever. And a lot of times the guys would bring them home after they'd done all that and even hang them up. Sometimes if the weather was cold, hang them up out in the tree. Let them finish, getting drained really good. But, oh, these are looking so good. Now, you could go ahead and cook them in the skillet and turn the light down after you got them browned real good. But I like to cook them in the oven so they They're just fork tender. Okay, these have browned really good. And I'm going to move them over into the pan. And I'll get the others in. I am going to add some bacon grease because I know there's not going to be enough grease to make very much gravy. Two more pieces, and we'll have it all in there. Okay. Can't tell you how wonderful these are. You just have to try them, and if you've got a hunter in your family, or you can, I don't know if you can go to the processing place and if they sell any deer or not. Sometimes they do sell deer, but it's better if you know who's shot it and how they've taken care of it if you want to eat the meat. But you may have a hunter in your family that likes to hunt. And I just wanted to show you how to do these. It doesn't really take that long. They're cooking up and browning up really nice. It's really cold, but I think it's supposed to warm up in a day or two, hopefully. And now when you make your gravy, you are supposed to use the same amount of flour that you have of grease. Now it's going to be harder for me to measure because the grease is hot, but I'll show you the best I can. Okay, and see how these are doing. And I'm just going to lay them on top of the other one and layer them in here. Like I said, I've got 12 little steaks. Oh, yum. Okay, so these will be ready to go, ouch, hot, in the oven as soon as I get the gravy on them. And that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to get that is quite a bit of grease. See if I can dip some of that out. And I may have to add it back. It's just a lot to start out with. Well, that don't want to come out. I may add that back in there. And what I do is I start adding my flour. Turn that light down. I've made gravy a lot, and I can tell by the consistency whether it's got enough flour in it or not for the grease. Your gravy or your flour will get a little brown and you don't want to burn it. So I'm going to go ahead and put the water in. Now I've put in, this will be 2 cups of water. Put in a teaspoon of salt and some pepper. Get my whisk. Turned it way down, and I had my skillet up too hot for the gravy. Now I'm going to taste this in just a minute to see if it's salty enough. It's starting to boil. Take this over here at the sink and blow on it and take me a taste. See how salty it is. It needs a tiny bit more salt. And by it being on the meat will flavor it even more. Okay. Everything out of the way so I can pour this without burning myself. Okay. I need a spatula. And I think I'm going to get me another hotbed. Now I'm going to pour this over the meat. hard time lifting this heavy skillet, but I love my iron skillets. I love them. And as soon as I get done cooking in them and I'm ready to put them away, I wash them, and I do not use soap. You do not have to use soap. I'll show you what you do if I can get this. Okay, here's the meat with the gravy on it. I'm going to put the lid on it, and then I'm going to put it in the oven. If I can find my hot pad, because this got kind of warm too. Okay, so in the oven it goes. Set the timer for an hour. Okay, now I'm going to bring you over here to the sink. And I'm going to take this little brush around the edge where the gravy got stuck on the edge, and just run around in the skillet like this. And this is hot water, and the skillet is still hot. Okay, now I'm going to get out a dry rag. And setting it back over here on the stove. Turn the stove on. Maybe I'll turn this one on. If I can figure out which one's which. Okay, I'm going to set this over here. I'm going to bring my camera back around. Take some olive oil. Cover the bottom. Not cover the bottom, but put a little bit in there. Then I'm going to get... Got the burner on, and I'm going to wipe this around in the skillet and on the edge of the skillet, and that's how you clean your iron skillets. No soap, please. You don't want your food tasting like soap. And the more you cook in it, the better it will taste. And I missed a little bit on the side here when I was cleaning, but that's okay. It just wipes right up. And just let that get really hot. Anyway, that's the way I do mine. And it works perfect. So, anyway, I want to thank you for watching, and when these steaks get done, I'll come back on and taste one and show you what they're like, okay? See you in a little bit. Okay, I'm back, and the timer went off for the hour that they've been in there, and we're going to take a look at them, and I'm going to go ahead and taste them. They may be done because, like I said, they were small and they may not take as long. And I wanted to tell you, this is my favorite little pan. It's a little roaster. It's the smallest one. Walmart used to carry them. I don't know if they do anymore or not, but can you see how good those look? I'm going to take this one out. And anyway, they do make a bigger one, but I use this little pan for a lot of things. And even though I only have myself to cook for most of the time, you can cook something smaller in it, or you can fill it up and use it that way, and it makes quite a bit for a family too. But I wanted to tell you, you can cook pork cutlets in here, pork tenderloins. You could do minute steaks, just beef steaks, and do them the same way that I did these deer steaks. And they'll be wonderful. You'll like them. They'll be wonderful. And it's just a good, easy way to do them, and they're good and tender. So I've got this. Sorry about that. Normally, I would dip up some of this gravy and pour over the meat and have some kind of potatoes with it, or some other vegetable. But anyway, I'm going to taste this if I can get it to cool down. Oh my goodness. Very, very tender. Very tasty. If you wanted to, and your steaks were a lot bigger, you could go ahead and put them back in the oven at 275 and bake them for 30 to 60 minutes, depending on how done they are. But these are very done. Usually I cut them with my fork, but oh, they are so tender and good. I just wanted to show you how I did them in this wonderful little pan that I've got. And I have missed having deer because I really like it. Now, I want to thank you for watching, and I hope you subscribe to my channel and push the like button. I'm going to be on here with some more things for you, and I may do some Thanksgiving things because I didn't get to be on here then, and I'll tell you more about that later. But I just wanted to get one back on here because I hadn't been on for a while. And I just thank you so much, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.